Welcome to Beyond the Headlights,
where we turn our pain into purpose
and raise our voices against drunk driving. I'm Destiny.
And I'm Jennifer.
In today's episode, we will share our inspiration behind the podcast, how our shared experiences have bonded us, and discuss our commitment to advocating for change in the fight against drunk driving.
Destiny, you've been advocating for change for over 10 years. Can you tell us more about that, how that came to be?
Yeah, so I feel like it goes all the way back to high school. I met my high school sweetheart, Corey, when I was 15, and he quickly became my everything. So much so that when I turned 18, 2 days after I turned 18 to be exact, we decided to get married. We knew we were supposed to be together forever. We could picture ourselves having that white picket fence and the kids running around in the yard and growing old together.
Yeah, nice.
So much so that we had our son, Parker, 2 years after we got married, and he quickly became our everything. I was fortunate enough to be able to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, that's
My
great.
husband, Corey, worked so hard so we could make that happen. But I felt like just as quickly as we were figuring out how to be parents and husband and wife and just enjoying adult life, it came to an abrupt halt. Basically, everything that we had imagined was no longer going to be anymore. We were hit nearly 87 miles per hour, almost head on, and we were struck at nearly 87 miles per hour head on. Our minivan instantly looked like a crumpled up can, and I would later come to find out that it was a drunk driver that instantly took my 15-month-old baby, Parker, and 24 hours later would take my high school sweetheart, Corey, leaving me a childless widow. From that point on, I knew that it was up to me to bring change to the world. The drunk driver could have stole their future, but I refused to let her steal our dreams and hopes and our ambitions that we had. I didn't want her to steal how amazing they were. I didn't want her to take that from me.
Yeah.
And so I began sharing my experience throughout this process on social media and kind of letting it be my public diary. And throughout the 10 years of fighting for change and fighting for justice and just allowing them to be known and not forgotten, I've met some pretty amazing people, and that's how we met. So
it's a great story, and also a terrible story. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes. I remember when I heard your story, I instantly felt drawn to you. I wanted to protect you. I wanted to take the pain away, but in reality, I knew there wasn't anything I could do or say. And so I'm glad that we could connect. I just wish it was for different reasons.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Do you want to tell everyone kind of how we
Sure.
met or why we met?
Yeah. So we actually were both realtors, and so we were working at the same brokerage, and I don't think we had actually talked before.
No.
But in April 29th of 2023, so almost exactly 22 months ago, it was a Saturday night, and my daughter Grace was driving home from a night out with some friends, and she was on Highway 79 near Old Monroe, and a car hit her nearly head-on also, actually driver to driver. And that car, Grace was killed instantly. She didn't swerve or brake, or there was no response, so we were told she was taken pretty instantly. Which is actually kind of comforting.
I was just about to ask you, like, knowing that Parker went instantly, like my baby, that's your baby.
Yeah. Just
It
a little
is.
taller.
It's comforting. It
Yeah.
is comforting to know that they weren't scared or
Absolutely.
hurt or
Absolutely.
anything
Scared
like
is the
that.
first thought that I had. So it's funny that you say scared. But yeah, we were told she probably didn't even recognize that it was happening. The other car had been at a post-prom party out in Old Monroe, and the party was broken up by police, and they were all underage and not even supposed to be drinking. But they got on the highway after the party was broken up and were going down the on-ramp. There was a car in front of them, and the driver swerved out and swerved directly. They were going to pass, so swerved directly into Grace. The driver of that car was 16 years old, and the ages of the four in the car ranged from 18 to 15. The three girls in the car died as well, and there was a 18-year-old male passenger who survived. But then you heard about that from the office, and I didn't go to the office for a while, understandably. One of the, I guess, benefits of being a realtor, you can make your own hours, and I didn't make any hours for a long time. But when I went back to the office the very first time, we had a conversation, and actually, I had one of the people in the office had reached out to me and said, this was probably a couple weeks after, and said, you need to talk to Destiny because she has a story that you want to hear. But I didn't, because I was grieving and had no energy to make new friends. But you sought me out that first time I was back in the office, and we just had a brief conversation. I don't even think it was a couple minutes long, maybe.
It's just like one of those things where you just want someone to know that, like, you're not alone. I'm here for you. You don't have to tell me the details, but I get it.
Absolutely. And that meant a lot, because those lifelines, I think instinctively, as mothers who have lost our children, that's like, I'll throw you a life preserver, and you're going to want to use it, but you don't need to ever thank me. You don't even need to tell me the details of the story, but I'm here to hold you up. And so you did that, and that instantly, like, we were sisters. There's a bond there. And so then as time went on a little bit, you continued your journey, I continued my journey, just kind of parallel to each other. And then I don't even remember. Do you remember when we actually started talking about, like, coordinating efforts?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it really went on with me starting the documentary, sharing my story more in, like, a professional light. And then after that, I was like, you know what? Like, I know that there could be so much progress, or I don't even, healing maybe, or just awareness to be had if we could get it to where we could share your story too.
Right.
And
But
to
I
give
remember
you a voice.
you said, I remember this, you sent me a text that said you were recruiting people for your army.
Oh,
and I remember thinking, oh, I want to be part of the army.
Oh,
I want to help fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
and
it's
that
because,
struck
like,
a
I had
chord
been
with
so
me.
used to, for the past 10 years, like, doing all of this alone. Like, I always thought to myself, like, how in the world could anyone, like, know how it feels, or how could anyone be passionate enough to fight this fight? Because, like, you always know drinking and driving's bad, but, like, you don't know how bad it truly is until you're directly impacted.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, once I knew you were directly impacted and I saw the things that you were already doing, I was like, okay, I think maybe we could join forces and be even more impactful. Or, like, when I'm down, you could be on the up, and when you're on the down, I could be on the up, and like, we could keep carrying each other further. And
And grief is so isolating. And this especially, you feel like you're fighting societal norms.
Yep.
And so you do feel very alone in it. So I remember instantly being like, yeah, I'm doing all these things, but she gets it. She knows exactly how it feels to lose a child. I don't know how it feels to lose a spouse, but we did bond so closely over that, and that that was a big sticking point for me. I was like, okay, we're a family now. So how
Yes.
can we do this together?
Uh-huh.
And you're right. When you're up, I'm down, and vice versa. And that's a good balancing act. So I know we have started this podcast not because we thought we're great speakers or we've always dreamt of starting a podcast. Neither of us want to do this or want to be here, and we expect that we're going to make a ton of mistakes, and people who enjoy listening to podcasts might think, oh my gosh, they're terrible, they get on my nerves or whatever. But we hope that each episode will get better, because we do have so much to say.
Yeah. I just hope that eventually it feels like we're just talking to one another, sharing like real life conversations, and we can bring a lot to the table to make some changes, or at least open up some eyes,
Yes,
like to
absolutely.
show how serious this can be before it affects somebody else's family.
Yeah. And the statistic is 2 out of 3 people will be impacted by a drunk driver in their lifetime. So it's a crazy statistic. If it hasn't happened to you, that's a blessing.
Yeah. It's not a matter of if. Yeah,
Right.
it's just honestly a matter of when.
Right. And we also wanted to say, too, that we will talk about a lot of painful things, and it will be sometimes heavy, but our life is not a reflection of heavy all the time. There are heavy moments. We're always grieving. It never goes away, but we make jokes. We do laugh. We have some great pay it forward ideas that we want to share eventually. And so we hope that you tune into our podcast, to just to hear about our people, because we love talking about our people. But we also hope that we can bring hope to others and pay forward some of the great things that people have given and done for us.
Absolutely. I think that throughout this, we don't want it to just be heavy, but we do want to be able to give those who have been impacted a voice, allow them to share their story and how amazing their person was, but get some insight from them. Like, how were they able to overcome these things, and what were they able to do to make a difference?
Right.
I know that in my lifetime, we will see a difference be made.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I can't stop until we do.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to our first episode of Beyond the Headlights. We hope today's episode brought you comfort, understanding, and a renewed sense of hope. If you found value in our conversation, please consider sharing this podcast with someone who might benefit from it.
Until next time, hold on to hope, honor the memories of those that you love, and take one step at a time toward healing. You're not alone on this path. Take care and be well.